Welcome again, Virgo. It's July 2020. No matter what I say in this reading today, I want you to maintain optimism because Venus, very friendly to you, the planet of love and good fortune, one of them, is there in the upper part of your horoscope here. This is the 10th house of your horoscope, which is related to your career. Let's start the animation here. I'll probably miss some of these, but don't worry. We'll pick that up later and I'll show you how you can fill in all the gaps that I happen to miss out. This Venus here is important, and also this 11th sign, 10th house, 11th house for Virgo, very, very important this month. Why? Because last month we saw that annular eclipse, the solar eclipse taking place here, place of profitability. There also we had the retrograde Mercury, still continuing here up until the 12th this month. Sun moving here in the 11th house, retrograde Mercury. These are quite problematic. And then you see on the 5th, this very powerful lunar eclipse happening in the exact opposite sign to where the solar eclipse was. Let's stop that for one moment. So 11th house is friendships. 5th house is more of an intimate sort of friendship. This is the house of love affairs, children, but also creativity. And I think the important thing to note here is that when the eclipse is taking place here, the full moon is going to shine all these emotional elements on this 5th house of creativity. Collaborative ventures with friends carried over from this eclipse of last month. And of course, the other thing we need to look at there is the moon swinging around here later in the month. I'm jumping the gun there because that will be the new moon. So first, this month comes the full moon, shining all of that beautiful energy there on the 5th house. Now, the moon for you is actually quite a friendly planet. It rules the 11th house. What's the 11th house? 11th house is your desires. What it is you want. What is it you want to make come true? What's, when you wish upon a star type stuff. When that planet is full, depending on where it takes place here, you can see that there is some opening for you at that time. But because these 3 retrograde planets are there, you may still not be able to manifest what that wish upon a star is. Notice also that you've got the transit of the moon here in the 7th house, which is your most intimate, concrete relationships such as marriage, business partnerships, and really it's what I call the public relations house. That nebulous combination with the moon, and then it makes contact in the 8th house with Mars. Mars shouldn't be all that strong in your horoscope because it rules this 8th house as well as the 3rd house. So it's not considered a friendly planet. Being here strengthens it because it's in the sign of Aries, and it has to do with the relationship you have with others, money, the value you place on other people, how you're interacting with them. So got to be a little bit careful. Here we see the retrograde and then direct Mercury on the 12th, making a direct right angle aspect here. And so on those dates when the moon has touched Mars, then it makes a contact there around the 14th, 15th to Uranus in your zone of values and legal matters. Bit of respite after the 16th when it moves into the 10th house. It's getting weaker and weaker here in its phase. You see, it's moving behind the sun, makes contact with Venus, some woman or some employer at that time. As I said earlier, you may not get what you want. Don't be disheartened by that. Important karmic forces come into play, 18th, 19th. And then you've got to wait, as I mentioned right at the outset of the reading, for this new moon to take place here. Moon makes contact with Mercury. The forward movement of Mercury means that your communications, your correspondence, all that sort of stuff, contracts can be viewed a little more confidently. And then with the new moon occurring there in your 11th house, I wanted to make sure it was in the 11th, not the 12th, because the 12th is a house of losses. Here you see this may simply be a bit of a low-key point, as we say each month when the moon transits this 12th house. But the new moon indicates a new approach, forward movement of Mercury, new approach. And then the July 22nd, 23rd, transit of the sun into the 12th house, again, brings, because the sun is also your career, brings things down into a more backroom sort of scenario where you're collecting your information, maybe looking at, what you've got to do to consolidate your position, especially against these retrograde planets, 4 of them. That's a lot of retrograde planets. Here we see the moon moving into the opposition of Mars, arguments, obstructions, 26th, 27th there against Mars. That will start a little bit earlier. But when it moves into this 3rd house, and keep your eye out for the blue line taking place here in the 3rd house of communications and contracts with Mercury. I think that's the time when, there you go. That's a very, very good omen there. And it's probably not till the very end of the month where you'll be able to pick up where you left off those negotiations. You're still going to have to contend with these, but that's got more to do with the methodologies of your creativity, I think. And maybe some forced circumstances there on your love affairs. There may be someone you've fallen in love with if you're single who's not able to accommodate you at this time. The retrograde planets also manifest on the superficial level in terms of circumstances that, we thought we were going this way, but right now we're going the opposite way. So just breathe. I always say breathe, just relax, have your game plan, negotiate what you can under those direct planets, and we'll pick this up next month. In the meantime, you can have a look at what I've written there for the 12 signs for the month of July, the text-based readings at astrology.com.au, the daily readings. We're doing the weekly readings as well, so you can fine-tune week by week what I'm saying, and I'm giving more in-depth analysis of that, so you can contextualize all of this stuff. For those of you wanting a more personal reading, I'm here for that as well if you need me. Drop me a line, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next month, and do stay safe. Bye-bye.